Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Relationship Communications Weekly Live. I'm Lisa DeToffel, your host, and today we're going to talk about networking. I have some networking tips that I want to share with you, okay? But we'll dive into our topic in a few minutes. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, I'm the founder of Relationship Communications, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring professionals to create, grow, and scale their network. Relationship Communications Weekly Live is a tactical and practical show that we do every week at the same time, every Friday morning at 10 a.m. So I hope you'll put that on your calendar so you can join us. And if you are joining me live here today, I would love to hear where you're coming in from. So please do put that in this chat. Say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. And we are streaming on different platforms. So if you are over on YouTube watching this video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you will be notified every time that we do go live. We have various different live shows throughout the week on various different topics. So we don't want you to miss anything. So we are sponsored by Tiger Eye Solution, my virtual assistant business. And at Tiger Eye Solution, we work with speakers, coaches, and professionals to help them grow their business so they can enjoy being the CEO and do what they love to do within their business. And we do this virtually and in our online community. So before we dive into our topic today, I do want to introduce myself a little bit. I know some of you people may be new and don't really know who I am, so I'm going to let you know who I am a little bit, right? So this was me over 5.5 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. As a preschool teacher, this was the last classroom that I was a part of. And throughout the 25 years that I was a teacher, I learned the skill of building relationships, because you have to build relationships with every single student that's in your classroom when you're a teacher. You have to learn their teaching methods, because every child learns in a different way. You have to learn, of course, they're going to share a lot with you. Some things you may need to know, some things you might not need to know, but that's okay. You are building that relationship and you're building that know, like, and trust factor, because in order for them to move forward and learn what they need to learn from you, they have to trust you. So fast forward to 2018 when I built my business. That is true in the professional and business world as well. We still need to build that know, like, and trust factor before anyone's going to want to work with us. Because if they don't know you, they're not going to want to do business with you, right? So you still want to get to know those in your network. Go to networking events and build your network, meet new people, right? Hey, Lachelle, how are you? So glad you're joining me live here today. Lachelle and I met through networking. That's exactly how we met. So she understands how networking works as well. Glad to have you here with me today. So, I started building relationships at a very, very early time in my life. Like I said, with those children, building that know, like, and trust factor so that they could trust me and actually learn what they needed to learn from me during those years that I was in the classroom with children. So I brought that skill with me into my professional world. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. But during those 25 years, I also was a single mom twice. This is when one of those times I was a single mother. This was our family photo at that given time of me and my 3 children. Being a single mom was difficult, but I learned a lot during those 2 different times I was a single mother. Not only did I help, with the children in the classroom I worked with, I also had to build different types of relationships with my own children during the time of being a single mother, because, life was a little bit different for us during those times. It was hard being a single mom and having to provide everything. That's a totally different ball game, right? Than when you have a full family, a husband and a wife both providing for the household, right? Well, during those times, that's not what we had. It was just me. And, the kids were in school. I had to help them with their schooling, plus provide, all the things was all on me during those times. So it was very hard. But I also tried my best. Sometimes it was successful, sometimes it was not. Just depends upon the time, right? With maintaining and building those relationships with my children and helping them understand what was going on at that given time. Why their father was no longer there, why I was the only parent in the house at that given time. And that was hard, very, very hard, but it took time for them to understand and grasp it. And it took a lot of work on my part. But we went through it, and this is what we look like today. My husband and I, Jeff, got married in 2016, and he is a great stepfather to my 3 children. And of course, we have these 2 beautiful grandbabies that will be a year old next week. Oh my goodness, how time flies, right? So JP and Hattie will be celebrating their very first birthday next week on the 25th of January. So I'm super excited about that. And then, of course, I have my 3rd grandchild on the way. That'll be here in June. My middle son, Matthew, and his girlfriend are also expecting a child in June. A little boy. We'll have another little boy. We did find out at Christmas that it's a boy. So we're super, super excited. And of course, in 2018 is when I started my virtual assistant business, Tiger Eye Solution. I did take a training program, earned a certification in my area of specialization, and reniched in 2020 and started specializing in relationship management and follow-up, because those are such key pieces in any business. Every business needs to have those key pieces. It may look different for your business than it does for mine, because we have 2 different types of businesses, and that's okay. It's not going to be the same or look the same for every single business, and that's fine. So in 2020, I reniched and started providing those services. And then also in 2021, decided to build a team. So I do have a team for Tiger Eye Solution, and we are growing all the time. So, this is the time of year everybody might want to start looking or possibly working with a virtual assistant to help them implement or do the things, within their business that they don't really have time to do, to take back some of their time so they can do other things. And that's important as well. If you want to learn more about Tiger Eye Solution, I'll be happy to have a conversation with you. You can reach out and we can schedule that. So today is about networking. Okay. I have a lot to share with you today about embracing networking. Okay. So, of course, today we're talking about networking, and networking is a very important aspect of growing your business. I'm going to give you some tips so that you can take your networking to the next level, right? I also share at the end about my networking academy, which also would help you with your networking efforts as well. But I'll explain more about that at the end today. But, and I really think networking right now is a very hot topic. We have just started a new year, and everybody is wanting to grow their network and meet new people to help grow their business, etc. And networking is a great way to do that. Like I said, at the end, I will tell you more about the academy and extend an invite, because the academy will be opening back up February 1st. So that's not that far away. So be sure to drop any questions you may have in the comments, or, in the comments below. And if you're watching this later, please do use #replay to let me know you're watching this later. But I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have around anything that I just shared today. Okay. So a good rule of thumb is that you can't work yourself into business. You can't just talk your way into business. You actually have to work yourself into business. There is work that comes along with it. You have to get all the things in order. in order to have an established business. And that's really important. Some people may talk, yes, I want to start a business, XYZ business, right? But just talking about it is not going to move the needle forward, right? So you definitely have to put in some work in order to get it started and to help it continue to move forward, right? So I want you to think about networking for a minute. And I know a lot of you, when you think about networking, you think you're going into a room feeling awkward, not wanting to do this. It's like you don't want to, if you're introvert like me, you don't like talking to new people for the very first time, right? Sometimes you might not know what to say, etc. So, and it might feel horrible to you just because, you get nervous or you stumble on your words when you do start trying to talk to someone, etc. But it can turn into a Debbie Downer situation, and that's not what you want. But what I do want you to do is change your mindset, change your attitude, because that makes a difference. It makes really all the difference in the world if you change your attitude or change your mindset when you're going into a networking event. It doesn't matter if it's in person or if it's online. Actually, I'm going to an in-person networking event later today. It's a luncheon. And I'm going to be talking. I mean, these people I have met before because I've been to the same networking event before as well. So some of them I'll know, and then there may be some new faces there as well that I don't know. But anyway, like I said, what I want you to do is change your attitude because that can make all the difference in the world. What you need to do first is to define networking, okay? Because a lot of people think it's something like selling, okay? Or you're torturing yourself, by going to a networking event. And that's not what it is at all, okay? And that's not what it's about at all, okay? And by doing that, you're making it so much harder on yourself, okay? By thinking that way, you're making the networking so much harder on yourself, and you don't want to do that. So here's the definition of networking. Networking is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and to develop professional or social contacts. I'm going to say that again. Networking is the action or process. It's an action. It's something you do or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. So basically what it is you talk to people and tell them about yourself and your business. Then you listen to the information that they share about them and their business. You could become friends. Lachelle and I are friends now, but we met through networking. We learned about each other. We built that friendship. We built that relationship through our networking efforts. And like I said, you can become friends, either business friends or social friends. Depends upon the person, right? And that's all it is. You don't have to make it so difficult and hard. You're just there to talk to people. Talk about yourself and your business. Tell them who you are, what your business is, and what you do. That's all you need to tell them. And then, in turn, listen to what they have to say. It's also important that you listen to them as well when they're telling you about themselves and their business and what they do. Okay? It's not selling. It's not trying to impress anyone that you come in contact with, during networking. It's not trying to convince someone to hire you or purchase from you or purchase a product or whatever that you have to offer. That's not what it's about at all. And it's not about being perfect either. You don't have to be perfect when you attend networking events, okay? It's all about talking to people about what you do professionally. And I teach you how to do all these things in the Networking Method Academy. Okay. Like I said, I'll share more about the Academy at the end. And that's all it is, right? Now, I get it. There's also, walking into the room by yourself and all the things that you're not comfortable with or you don't like doing, all that stuff. You can bring a friend with you if that helps. Take a friend. But you can't just hide out in the corner with your friend and put your heads together and not meet anyone else or anyone new. Okay? It's really important to meet new people. How are you going to grow your network if you don't meet new people, right? So that's part of the reason that you network, is to meet new people and new contacts, okay? So you can either stay at home and not network at all and stay where you are currently in your business, or you can go to that networking event and hate every minute of it if that's how you feel, or you can network and enjoy it. It can be enjoyable. It's just like picking up the phone and calling your mother and having a conversation. And we all do that, right? I'm sure at some point you call your best friend, you call your mom or your dad or your grandmother, whomever, on the phone and have a conversation with them, or your kids. I call my kids most of the time. That's who I have conversations with most of the time on the phone, or my kids. Or through text messaging. That's a conversation as well. Right? It's the same thing. At a different level, of course, because this is more on a professional level when you go to a networking event. So you do need to dress and act and look professional, all the things, right? When you do go to an in-person networking event. Now, online is a little bit different, but when you do go to an in-person networking event, you do want to look professional and talk professional and talk about your actual business, as a professional. So those are your choices, and it's all in your head. And you get to decide. So we're going to talk about some tools now that you can hopefully use and see how easy it is and what to do to get rid of all that confusion. So you'll be able to network, okay? So you can network with ease. So remember, networking takes investment of time and energy, okay? And some networking events may charge for you to attend as well. I'm going to another in-person networking event next week that I had to actually pay a fee in order to attend. So, you have to get all the specifics about the specific networking event you're attending, whether it's online or in person, to make sure all your bases are covered, right, before you get there. So, I want you to make sure you're leveraging your networking efforts, okay? It's one thing to spend time on your business. It's a completely different to waste time. And we don't have time to waste, right? So why waste time struggling with your business when you can follow these steps and get it going now, right? Because I promise, networking is going to help you grow your business. That's exactly how I've grown mine, is through my networking efforts, attending online networking events and in-person networking events, because I've done both. And like I said, I teach you all about how to do that in the Networking Method Academy. Okay. So let's jump in. So this is me. This was last September. This is Tori Eubanks and I at a networking event in my town. So we were networking at that particular event. And Tori and I both have a virtual assistant business. And most people in the room stated that they could use virtual assistant services to help them in their business. So, of course, we both gave out our business cards. We have them, with us at all times. Make sure you do that. That's part of our steps. Is to make sure you do take those business cards with you. So we gave out our business cards like crazy. Now, number one, first, you need to visit several networking groups. Every group is not going to be a good fit for you. Sometimes you're going to go to a group and you're just going to think, I don't like this. I don't like these people. These are not the people for you. Okay. So you want to visit, whether you're doing it online or in person, you want to visit several different networking groups. And so you can determine if they are your people or if they're not your people. Okay. The networking group that Lachelle and I was a part of, they were definitely my people. I mean, I think it was her people too, but we all networked together and got along great and supported each other, referred each other, all the things that go along with networking and being a part of a networking group. Okay. And that's how it works. So if that's how you feel when you go to that networking group, those are not your people. You don't necessarily have to go back to that specific group again if you don't want to, but find another one. Okay. So, if it does make you feel icky and very uncomfortable. Okay. So look for people in industries that you are comfortable working with as well. Okay. And I mean, even if you are at that group where you're meeting people that aren't your people, y'all can still have a conversation. Y'all can still connect. It's just, you're probably not going to work together, right? You can still support each other, learn about what they do, and possibly if you know someone, refer them. Maybe they can do the same for you, right? So you want to connect with others like you. They know how to talk about what they do clearly so that you can understand it or understand what they're sharing and the type of work that they do. There's not a lot to it, but just remember, everyone there is just as nervous as you are. Sometimes you just have to keep looking for the people that are your people until you find them. And it may take visiting multiple groups before you find your people. Okay. You may have to visit 4 or 5 until you find your people. But when you find a group that you like, I want you to become a regular. In other words, visit that group on a regular basis and consistently, because that is the key here. Okay. So if you show up, maybe this is going to be your 3rd or 4th time going to this group meeting, and you show up and they recognize who you are. And as you walk in the door, they say, oh, hey, Lisa, how are you doing? And they start a conversation right then and there as you're walking in the door, because they want to find out, what you've been up to in the past week or so, or whatever, since the last time y'all met, right? Or they may have spoken to someone that may be a good fit for you. They may have a referral for you, which is also great too, right? So you definitely want to make sure you visit or attend the meetings when you do find the group that has your people in it. Okay. Attend on a regular basis. Because if you don't, they're not going to remember you. If you do start attending on a regular basis, they're going to learn who you are, what you do, what your business is all about, all the things, right? And be able to support you. Whether or not they are a good fit to work with you or not, they may know others, or they may meet other people that are, and they can refer them to you. Okay. So what you do next, what you want to do is be able to go into the group, like hopefully like Tori and I did. And when you walk, like I said, when you walk in the door, people know who you are. They may ask how everything is going with your business. They might want to chit chat with you, because they start to care about you. Once they start learning who you are and what you do, they start to care. The friendship starts building, right? The relationship starts building, right? And that's why they acknowledge you like that when you first walk in the door, because that relationship has started, because you have been attending on a regular basis to these meetings. So find 1 to 2 groups that meet monthly and show up every time. Be friendly. Look people in the eye. All the things when you're interacting with the people and talking with them, okay? Next, you need to work the room. So you need to introduce yourself to at least 3 new people every time you go to a meeting, and ask them if you can add them to your email list. If they would mind if you put them on your email list so that you can stay in touch. It's a very natural thing to say when you're talking with them and you're chit-chatting, okay? And then when it's time to take your seats, you can say real quickly, I'd love to stay in touch. Can I have your business card? If it's okay, I'll add you to my newsletter list and let's continue this conversation, right? So ask for their business card if they have not already given it to you, if you're in person, that is, okay? Very simple. It's not selling. You're not spamming, and it shouldn't feel icky, okay? The other thing you should do is to be prepared. If you're not a natural conversationalist, like I'm not, and you're not good at small talk, but you are in the room and you need to chit chat, right? So here's some questions that you might want to use. How did you get into that type of work? Or how long have you been doing that? Next one could be, where else do you like to network? That would give you some ideas, especially if these are not your people. If you ask somebody or a couple people that question, they can tell you some other networking events, you could go visit them and see if it's a better fit for you, right? So sometimes they may offer to take you to another group. Some people will offer that as well, and introduce you to the people in that specific group, which is also good. So another question would be, ask if they have been coming to this group for a while and how long they have lived in that specific area. If you are at a live event, a live networking meeting. Then you could ask, what did you do before you started your business, or XYZ, before you started doing XYZ. Then you could also ask questions that is comfortable for them to answer, because you do want to get answers, right, when you ask them questions. Something where they would know the answer easily, okay? Also, you want to talk about your work and what you do in a clear way when you are speaking to people. Yes, I understand you're going to be a little bit nervous, but practice before you go, maybe a day ahead of time or something. Practice exactly what you're going to say when you go to that meeting, so that it's already in your head. You just have to say it, right? Make sure you bring business cards. Yes, I have my business cards ready for the meeting I'm going to today, because I know a lot of people use the digital business cards now, but I'm not a fan of them, because if I hand someone my phone and they put their contact info in it, it's probably going to get lost in the sea of darkness, and I'm never going to see it. Therefore, I'm not going to remember them, right? Because I'm not going to have it on my desk in front of me when I get back to my office. If I actually have physical cards in my hand, then I can lay them on my desk. And when I set aside time to go through those cards and to follow up with those people or put them on my email list, whatever it is I'm going to do, they're right there. I'm not going to forget anybody because I have their card with their name and all their info on it, right? You can make it really cool, a really cool business card if you like. Canva is a good place to do that. That's where I make my business cards. Or you can order them, from a printing company or something like that, if that's easier for you. So if you want to make a cool one where they will remember who you are, that's also something you can do. It is something that they can physically touch and will help them to remember who you are. Next, after the event, if you met someone you want to get to know or continue the conversation with, contact them and schedule a coffee chat, a one-on-one conversation, so y'all can finish the conversation that you started at the meeting, okay? And you can get to know each other better and on a deeper level, and learn more in depth about what they do. Now, make business friends. That's a thing. You can make business friends. Like I said, this meeting I'm on to today, I've been to it before. So some of these people have been my clients. Some of these people are my business friends, the ones that I know. And I'm sure there's going to be some there today that I don't know, that I have not met yet. But I will meet them today. Okay? So these are your steps that you want to implement when going to a networking event. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Academy. Like I said, it's going to be reopening on February the 1st. You'll see some of that in my social media. If you're part of the Relationship Communications Facebook group, it'll also be in there, to where you can actually sign up for the Academy if you would like to learn more in depth of how to make the most of your networking efforts. The Academy is a 6-month program. You go through it at your own pace. You will have access to me for that whole 6 months as well. If you have questions or things, I do a weekly study hall with the students that are going through the Academy. So anything that comes up or any questions as you're going through all the lessons and stuff, you can bring those to study hall. You can ask them there and we can talk about it and discuss it. There are 10 modules in the Academy with 6 to 8 lessons in each module. Each lesson does have, of course, content, videos, and some lessons have downloadables, depending upon what that specific lesson is about. So there's a lot of information in that Academy about and around networking, and it will help you and show you how to make the most of your networking efforts, especially with a new year just starting. This may be something that you would want to take time to do, to learn how, especially if networking is a goal. A lot of people have set their goals now and are trying to start implementing, the steps to reaching those goals. This may be a good step for you to take if networking is one of your goals for this year. So if you're not a part of the Relationship Communications Facebook group, head on over to Facebook, put it Relationship Communications in the search bar, and it's a free group to be a part of. It's a networking group. You can meet other people in there. We have almost 500 members in the group, which is awesome. We're very interactive in the group as well. And like I said, more about the Academy will be posted there as well, or you can find more about it on my business Facebook page. Tigereye Solution has a Facebook page as well. So it'll also be there also. Any questions about today, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. Use #replay if you're watching this later. Thank you so much, Miss Michelle Atkins, for being here with me live. Everyone have a great week, and I will see you again next Friday.